Okay, so another shir in Sipuri Maisius. And in this one, I see the writing of Rav Shik, how beautiful it is. And I noticed that from the Secrets of Purim, the shiurim that we're saying on that, you could say this is the secret of finding your soul. It's so beautiful. He says, "V'roach shamelech siva lahaviras amalka." So this is where the story was, is that he managed to make himself into the fort, into the palace, past all the things, and he saw the king and all his splendor. And he introduced an idea. What it said in this story, that he saw something to eat over there, something to drink over there. It actually is talking about Torah and mitzvahs. He's talking about Torah and tefillah. The person saw his own emptiness. He saw inside of his own self, his physical self, that there's nothing there. It's only appetites. And so he wanted to achieve some spirituality. This is how it starts. So now he says that he's able to see the king. He actually sees the king in all of his glory. So the person learns Torah, does mitzvahs, he learns how to pray. Rabbeinu Kodesh has, of course, a lot to say about prayer. Because I think the bottom line in all of Kabbalah and all of this, the Chassidus of Breslov, is learning how to pray. Because the power of the word can actually do a tremendous amount to change and to rebuild the world. Oz maskil leros es yetzahara. So then a person, once he starts learning Torah during mitzvahs and praying, he starts to see the power that the yetzahara has. You can see it clearly. Shuhu melech zaken v'chsil. It's an old king who's a fool, old foolish king. Ech shehevi es malchus. So then he sees how that this king is bringing and can call the queen. So who's the queen? The queen is the lost princess. Who's the princess? Is the lost soul. So they went to bring her. A person that does Torah, Tefillah, mitzvahs, and he finds himself doing something, maybe his work, maybe the relationships that he has, personal relationships, who knows what, that he's in a situation not good. Yira ech shemevim as a bas melech, so now he can see that there is a little bit of bas melech there, and how they're bringing her. The other side has a hold of her. They bring her. Shehi nishmasa. That's his soul. That's his neshama. Because now what's happened is that she's really under the control of the evil side. It was tremendous musical, and all the different police were jumping and dancing, and there were light shows. That they're able to bring this malcha, which is true kedusha. So they brought her a special chair. She had a throne, and he sat her down next to the king, who's the Yetzirah. And now he sees her, and he recognizes that this is the lost princess. Because it's a rule, he says, this opposite that is the way that God made the world. He made opposites. So if he made Kedusha, then he also made Tuma. So if he made something that was selfish, he could also make something that was saintly. But here we have this situation. So there's a word called Malchus, and the Malchus represents the Shechina, which is actually the Panemius of the Jewish people. Kamo Kain, Etzel the Sitra Achra, Shucha Malchus the Kali, that is the Malchus of the Klippa. So this also has the same thing. Sham Na'asar of Simcha Gedaila, and so over there in the place where this evil king has now a hold of the Neshama, he's having a big party. When they finally get a Neshama, as I said, I don't know if I said it in this year, if I said it in another one, but the Kali really don't exist except for Kedusha. It's the way that God made the world. It's not an accident. You can't knock this out. This is something, that's why he says you have to have a derech minatzad, because the God made it that way. So we could have this concept of kaspa denam, or nama de kaspa, which one it is, the bread of shame. But you're not getting something for nothing. You have to overcome this problem that Hashem has planted in the world. Vahu, that is this Sheni the Melech, this Grand Vizier who is actually the tzaddik, who's trying to become a tzaddik. V'arva hikira, he saw her, and he recognized it. He saw what? He saw his soul. He saw his neshama. And he knew it was inside of him. Ki mi shalom eter l'shma. This is a whole topic by itself. A person that learns Torah for the sake of the Torah. What's the reason for learning Torah? The real reason is to come close to Hashem. That's why Rabbi Memran has the Vekashir, because that's all there is. That's what the Shema is. Why am I learning? I'm not learning so they could call me a Rav. I'm not learning because it could give me a good shidduch. I'm not learning because I'm supposed to. I'm learning because I want to be close to Hashem. That's the derech to get me in contact with my neshama. L'shma, v'l'shem keil olam, and for the name of the everlasting God. Even when you're under pressure, and the other side is really after you because maybe you stumbled a little bit. But if a person starts doing Torah mitzvahs, good deeds, and learning how to pray, that person in the end is going to find his neshama. That's what they say. Is that the value of a person who has fallen into a pit and now has really weak thoughts and he's not able to see how in the world he could ever get out of it. And there's no hope for him. He'll never get out. This life is the life that he's stuck with. But even so, he finds a way to start learning. Mispalo, start learning how to pray. Help, he's saying. Mekayim, it's a mitzvahs, and he started to do good deeds. Learn what a good deed is. And a person in this kind of situation is sacrificing tremendous amount of his life. He doesn't let himself fall into hopelessness. If he does this, he'll free the queen. He'll free the lost princess. He'll free his soul. That she is his neshama. That is an actual piece of godliness, and the godliness that makes us be alive. It makes us live. It makes us strive. In the depth of in the inside of his inside, that's where you find her. So even when a person finds himself living a life which is totally not religious, so he's able to take from all the wonderful ornaments and all the beautiful food and drink, which is what? Torah mitzvahs, tefillah. He doesn't give up on himself. He keeps being strong and stubborn. And things start going from bad to worse. And he finds himself in a place that's really not good at all. But because of his stubbornness and his persistence, he doesn't leave his place. In the end, he will find the Bas HaMelech, which is his soul. The rabbis say this in the Medrash. Rav Huna v'Rebbe Yirmiyah b'Shem Rebbe Chia ba'Arba. Amro, they say this like this. They quote a pasuk in Yirmiyah. V'osi azvu v'astarasi lo shemaro. So they abandoned me, and my Torah they didn't keep. So this is talking about the Jewish people. Halavai osi azavu v'sorah. So he says maybe it would be but to say that azavu me, Hashem speaking, they abandoned me. V'torasi lo shemaro. Mitok shahayim is asking bo. The Sarasi Shemara, excuse me, I read it wrong. He said, maybe they abandoned me. They don't care about me anymore, says Hashem, but they kept learning Torah. Because they kept learning. Because the light in the Torah itself will bring them back to do good things. So Rav Huna says on this, so let's say you're learning because you think that it's going to get you into a good shidduch, let's say. But even though that you're learning for the wrong reason, you eventually can come to the right reason, because the Torah has a light in it that purifies and makes a person holy. Because the value of the learning of the Torah, you can't measure. There's no way for us to be able to understand all that we're able to achieve as a result of just learning. Because the lights in it will continue to refine you, bring you back to goodness. So now, the Grand Vizier, who is going to be the Tzaddik HaEmes, this Tzaddik HaEmes has now found himself in a place that's just not good. All the false places, the other side. So only there is where now he's beginning to find he needs it, he's broken. He begins to find his true essence. Shehi Nishmaso, which is his neshama. So that's the way every Jewish man has to strengthen himself. Even though he finds himself in terribly difficult places, they should not abandon all of these ma'adanim. These are the same words he said for the good food, for the ornaments, for the good clothes, and so on and so forth. What is that? That is Torah mitzvahs. Shehem Torah tefillah. Asher the besof daika. Ayideize yitizgal olav b'bas melech shehi nishmaso. This is exactly how she will reveal himself. 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. And let's go to the finish for the lesson today. He says, so after that, so the queen, that is the queen, which is really his neshama, was in control, being controlled by the Yetzer Hara, she looks out. So she saw someone sitting in a corner and she recognized him. So she came up from her throne. So she went to that place and she touched him. She shook him, let's see, what? She said something to him. So she asked him, do you remember me? Now what's the metaphor? This is a person's own neshama talking to him. He's so lost, but she's coming to him. The Shechina is certainly aware of you and me. This is pnimi to us. And even if we can't find her, she can find us. She knows we're there. We know every little part of our lives. So he answers her, hey, I can recognize you. I know who you are. You are the daughter of the king that's been lost. So the person learns Torah because he wants to come close to Hashem Yisbarach. And even though it's not easy for him to get to it, because he has trouble in his business or his family or in sickness or whatever it would be, calls those who mizgaver v'lomed Torah. But even so, he strengthens himself, fortifies himself, and he keeps learning. If he does that, and even though he's lost and he can't figure out how to get out of it, she'll come to him and bring him a peace, bring him mochin the godless, settlement of the mind that lets a person be able to see. What beautiful words. Watch these words. The words are, she sends down onto him light, radiance, life force, and clinging to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, to eternity. That's what she can bring you. There's nothing sweeter. So so she starts arguing with him. She starts saying different things that he needs to know. So because she asked him and said, you recognize me? What's it mean? She's his essence. He's so lost that he doesn't know what his essence is. She asked him, you recognize me? So a person who's learning Torah, but he's in trouble and he has pain. Because what does he want? He wants to cling to the Hashem Yisbarach. He can recognize her if he does that. Shehi Hashchina. This is the Shechina that's inside of him. HaNeshama Habas Melech She'nevda. That's his own neshama, the king's daughter that has been lost. Okay, and he brings a little shtickle from Mishli. Kamayim upon him, so that when you look in water, you're looking face to face with yourself. Kain leva adam la'adam. So there is the heart of a man to its heart. If you put your heart, he says, to wanting to reach Hashem, the Shekhinah that's within you will try to reach you. Not try to reach you, it will reach you, strengthen you, and fortify you, and bring you sweetness and blessing. Alachas kama v'kama kasha adam meir panav klape nishmasa. So if a person stops and he starts to shine his light, onto his own neshama, shehi etzem elokusi is baruch again, that this is the utter essence of godliness. Kamo kein nishmasa meira panel olav, so that his neshama will start shining back on him. It's a two-way street. It's not that God is someplace else. And people say, "Where's God? You don't want to do this. I don't want to have God go away from me." It's not like that. God's always with you. But the question is whether or not you're going to look for him and whether or not you're going to find him. Because if you look, you'll find. So he says, It says it brings this little shtick over here. So the person who's doing this, the person who's trying really, really hard to find his own essence, that person is going to become famous in the world. He says, how is this? The rabbis say like this, I'm a Rebbe Binyamin Bar Levi. He says, Im yeshev ane bezavis ve'osev Torah. Person sitting in a corner and he learns Torah Lishma. He just wants to try to find Hashem. Ani marehu lebrios. I will show him to other people. So he doesn't have to do anything in order to make himself famous. Elo the shev is bekeren zavis. Just let him go into a blind corner where nobody could see him. Lilmo Torah Lishma, and learn Torah for Torah's sake. V'oz kevar hakodesh baruch hu ba'atzmo. Yefarsei mosel b'kol ha'olam kulo. The Hashem will make him famous in the whole world. That's why. Because he's become I want to use the word, the madar. He made himself a vessel, a kli, where Hashem could preside. That's the lesson for today. Main thing, enjoy.